अन्विता फटाफट फिल्में भी बनाती। ये हमने शायद 35-37 दिन में हमने ये फिल्म की है, which is I think extremely rare. It is very very quick.
I am like a child.
पूरा दिन रोते रहते हो, but एक टाइम के बाद you feel empty. You feel like there's nothing more that I can give now.
कभी-कभी मुझे लगता था कि शायद she has already edited the film in her head. सब कुछ तैयार है अपने दिमाग में, the visual is all ready. मुझे डर है कि शायद अन्विता से मार पड़े इस बात के लिए।
मुझे शुरू में नहीं लगा था कि हो पाएगा, but I think it went well and it wouldn't have been possible.
आदित्य चोपड़ा ने अपनी जिंदगी में दो बड़ी अच्छी चीजें की है among many other things. One is he made DDLJ and the other is that he gave us Anvita Dutt. It was a chance meeting that happened over coffee and 15 years later that lady is set to present to the world her first directorial film which hits Netflix on the 24th of June. Anvita, as a writer, as an accomplished writer, I'm sure you've got a myriad ways to describe the circus in your head right now. What's going on?
I am like a child right now. I'm so happy, like I was telling my producers also that, at my age, to have an entire year where I have started most of my sentences with the first time that to be able to do that is pretty fascinating, because the first time I took a shot, the first time I did this, the first time I edited, the first time I did a score with Avinash Tiwary, the first time I'm giving an interview for my debut film. So I am just loopy with joy, because I write stories because they make me happy, because that's who I am. मैं रोज सुबह 5 बजे उठ के लिखती हूँ. And to be able to tell it to the world is just, you have no idea how happy I am.
Right. I managed to watch the film last night, courtesy Netflix, and the one thing that made me happy, it doesn't happen very often in our industry, is the first name in the opening credits. Tripti, are you aware of what that first name is? You'll be thrilled to bits, it's you.
Yeah, pretty aware of it.
If I can add to it,
I know what you're going to say, Avinash. Say.
I want to say this. I think I don't know of many actresses who can boast of this, but she has done 2 films and she has done the titular parts in both the films. It is a rarity. She's blessed, guys.
Yes, I really think I'm truly blessed and really, really thankful to God that I, keep getting such opportunities. Laila Majnu was, a great opportunity for me. And as a film, I think it has taught me a lot. I was very new, when Laila Majnu happened. And it happened by chance. I mean, I was not even going for the audition. It just happened that I was there for the audition. And the same was the case with Bulbbul also. I was supposed to be in Delhi for a shoot, and that shoot got cancelled last minute, and that is the same day that I got a call for Bulbbul's audition, and I went there. So I think it's, all God's plan for me, and I feel really very lucky that, my director and my producers and the makers, they chose me as Bulbbul and to play the part. Really thankful to them.
Lovely. अविनाश, आपने बहुत साल पहले दूरदर्शन पे एक शो किया था जिसका नाम था एक आंगन के हो गए 2. अब ये नेटफ्लिक्स के आंगन के भी 2 हो गए. 6 महीने के अंदर 2 फिल्में आपकी आ चुकी है, 1 Jan and 24th June. Do you pinch yourself कि बहुत क्या हो रहा है? Is it really happening?
हाँ, मतलब मैं एक्चुअली बहुत greedy आदमी हूँ, तो मुझे लग रहा है कि ये कम है यार. मैं अभी I should have had 5 films on Netflix by now. But as far as Netflix is concerned, I have 3 titles on Netflix at this point of time. There is Tu Hai Mera Sunday, there's Ghost Stories, and now it's gonna be Bulbbul. So yeah, I think things are getting better for sure, and I hope ये मुझे काम देते रहे Netflix वाले, जिंदगी बरकरार रहे इस तरह से.
Right. Anvita, you've done a lot of work with BioRef and Dharma, and the color palette of their films is very ostentatious. It's very larger than life. It's very resplendent. Now, the color palette of Bulbbul has a very enchanting, magnetic, attractive red. I'm intrigued to know if that was part of your storyboard before the film went on set, or did you discover it organically, or did that happen purely on post-production?
Oh no, before the film was made. Way before the film was made. This is how the film was going to look and feel. The thing is, I guess when you've written the film yourself and you've lived with it long enough, you know how it looks. And then when I talked to my DOP and my production designer and everything, my brief to them was that it has to look like a Raja Ravi Verma painting. And since you've seen the film, you know why there is that red in the film. And that also was what happened was in prep, before we actually started prep, Siddharth Diwan had not even signed the contract as yet, but he had verbally told me he's doing the film, and he was shooting in Dubai. And I called him and I said, okay, this is what is happening in that moment, so I want my moonlight to be red. And he was like, oh my God, that is incredible. And I'm frightened because I don't know how I'll pull it off. But this is so exciting. And he pulled it off. It looks, to me, it looks beautiful.
It does. Tripti, I saw a few scenes where your character does not respond immediately with words. There are these pauses, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds pauses, after which your character speaks. While there is lack of Therao in our world these days, are these scenes very difficult to do?
Not when you're, prepared, not when you know what your character is going through and what your character is thinking at that point in time. And luckily we did a lot of workshops to understand the mind state, the mindset of this person who speaks very slowly, who's very calm and takes her own time to respond to people. And honestly, it wasn't easy because sometimes you disconnect easily, when there are no lines, when there are no dialogues, you can go blank as an actor because while acting, your both minds are on. Your character's mind is also on and your actor's mind is also on. So you can sometimes, get distracted. But luckily, I, had the luxury of time here. Anvita, used to always say this one thing that I'm going to call action. I'm going to, roll the camera and everything's going to be ready. But you act only and only if you're in the zone and only if you're ready to, ready to act, otherwise don't. So she used to give me a lot of time and I used to spend all that time in she's this girl who's very calm from inside, so most of the times I was just focusing on my breath, and that was my prep for this person who rarely talks, who hardly talks. And I think it happened only because of that, because she was always there to guide me and she gave me a lot of time to be in the character and feel every emotion that she was supposed to feel.
Right. Avinash, the one unique feature of this script, to my limited knowledge, is that it's not an overwritten film. It's not very verbose. और किसी भी character के ज़्यादा भारी भरकम dialogues वाला मामला नहीं है. Is that an advantage, or can that unnerve an actor?
Not if the actors are good at their jobs. What I found most interesting about the film is the fact that every character has this. They have such subtle, deep layers to it that all of them bring it out in their performances. I really hope it comes to the audience, but I almost sense the intent of every actor there to really go deep inside and try and bring those subtle layers out in their performances, and which is what is so beautiful about the film. I find it very unique. I really do. I find the whole genre of the film, which I find extremely flexible. I find the performances to be unique because they are, like you said, they are not dialogue driven. Like you said, there is more Thera, like in Bulbbul's character. So everyone has something, and we all have tried our best to, get those nuances out. And I really hope that comes through in the film. So yes, it is challenging though as an actor. But yeah, if you're equipped enough, you will enjoy it.
Anvita, you first worked with Anushka Sharma in Patiala, where you wrote the dialogues and the lyrics, and then Filori in 2017, which was her own production. Tell us about the first time you shared the idea or the story with Karnesh and Anushka at Clean State Films.
So actually, this is a very sweet story. I have known Karnesh since he was in the Merchant Navy. He was nothing to do with the film industry. When I met him through Anushka, this is after Abne Banadi Jodi came out, and we used to hang out. We had common friends, and we used to have lovely conversations about everything from astronomy to quantum physics to stories, because we both like reading. And then he was like, no, I love reading, but I would like to read something interesting in an interesting genre. And one of our friends said, hey, have you read Bulbbul? Anvita's written this. This I'm talking about 10 years ago at least, more than 10 years ago. And so he read it just as a friend. He was in the Merchant Navy. He just read it. And he told me that the next day he met me for coffee and he said, if ever I become a producer, I will produce this film. And then he became a producer and then he gave it to Anushka to read. And then when she read it, she said, you're absolutely right. We are going to produce this film. And that's how it happened.
So coffee played a key role in your life. Coffee at YRF with your friend and coffee with Karnesh Sharma.
Coffee is very important.
Coffee with Karnesh.
Coffee with Karnesh Sharma is very important.
Also to bring the focus on a man of his words, huh?
A man of his words. A man of his words.
Well done. Tripti, your character has two very distinct shades. One is this very demure, effervescent, fresh as a daisy, if I may. And the other, without revealing too much, is a complete contrast. The body language is different. She's wearing different colors. How did you manage to switch so effortlessly? Did you purely go by what Anvita said, or was there another kind of process to it?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I, submitted to Anvita's way of working completely and placed my trust in her from day one. And that's exactly what she did too with me. And I think this is very important for an actor to trust the director completely and for a director to trust an actor completely. Because, when there's trust, then there's confidence too. And then that, this other person's trusting me. So I have to give my 200% to the person. As far as the character is concerned, we had our workshops. We had, good 2 months to prep for the characters where we created, Bulbbul's world. And for me, honestly, I've always felt that I'm more close to the one that's innocent because I kind of, know her world and I relate to her most and not to the one that's in power and that, is completely comfortable in her own skin. And that is something that we had to really, really work hard on. And I was just asked to, as I told you earlier, focus on myself and, completely cut out from the outside world. And it was, honestly, initially very difficult for me to understand, but I think we had a lot of workshops and the preparations kind of helped. But there were days where I was playing, 20 first and then 25 and then 20 again. But that was difficult, specifically on those days to switch off from, because this girl that's innocent is very fidgety. She doesn't even know where to look when she's talking. To break from that and to go into a complete zone where you're just calm and not even looking at other people and only looking at yourself and only focusing on yourself, that and then break that again to and again get into the fidgety zone, that for me was, those days were difficult, but Anvita was always there to get me into the mood again. She's very good with actors. There were days, where as an actor you also sometimes feel कि यार अब नहीं हो रहा है, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं समझ आ रहा है, कैसे जाएं, because एक दिन होता है ना, आप पूरा दिन रोते रहते हो, but एक टाइम के बाद you feel empty, you feel like there's nothing more that I can give now. But she's that person who will come and just talk to you for 5 minutes and you'll be back in the character. So that really helped.
अविनाश, अक्सर जब एक्टर्स को जब पूछते हैं ना कि अच्छा बताओ डायरेक्टर के बारे में, तो स्टैंडर्ड रिप्लाई मिलता है कि दिस डायरेक्टर नोज व्हाट ही और शी वांट्स. इज द स्टैंडर्ड रिप्लाई. नाउ आई हैव बीन टोल्ड दैट अनवीता एज अ राइटर बहुत फटाफट सब कुछ लिखती है, फर्रे रखती है, चिट रखती है छोटे छोटे, और बहुत फटाफट टर्न अराउंड टाइम होता है. डज दैट फटाफट अप्रोच वर्क विद हर डायरेक्शन सीन एज वेल?
अनविता फटाफट फिल्में भी बनाती है. ये फिल्म हमने, अगर आपने फिल्म देखी है तो यू कैन सी द क्वालिटी ऑफ द फिल्म. ये हमने शायद 35-37 दिन में हमने ये फिल्म की है, विच इज आई थिंक एक्सट्रीमली रेयर. इट इज वेरी वेरी क्विक. सो यस, इसमें कोई शक की बात नहीं कि, और ये प्रूव किया जा सकता है क्योंकि इतने कम समय में हुआ है. इमेंस अमाउंट ऑफ क्लैरिटी. शी न्यू एग्जैक्टली व्हाट एवरीवन इज सपोज्ड टू डू, व्हाट शॉट कब कहाँ. आई ऑलमोस्ट कभी मुझे लगता था कि शायद शी हैज ऑलरेडी एडिटेड द फिल्म इन हर हेड. सब कुछ तैयार है अपने दिमाग में, द विजुअल इज ऑल रेडी एंड वी आर जस्ट गोइंग देयर एंड डूइंग आवर जॉब्स. वी वुड कम, हर दिन हम लोग शूट खत्म करते थे, रात को हम लोग अपनी ब्लॉकिंग कर लेते थे अगले दिन we'll come back, we'll shoot, get done with it. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये इनकी बहुत जबरदस्त खासियत है, और मैं इसमें साथ में ये जोड़ी देता हूँ हमेशा की तरह कि उनका एस्थेटिक सेंस मुझे लगता है कि बहुत ही नायाब है, बहुत ही खूबसूरत है, और इसी वजह से मुझे लगता है कि इन्होंने मुझे ये काम दिया एज एन एक्टर. इनका एस्थेटिक सेंस बहुत ही शानदार है. So,
right.
But ये सच्चाई है, इनकी क्लैरिटी और confidence is something, because this is her first film, yeah, and she was on it, like a pro.
There is a man that has been pushing Anvita to turn director for the longest time, at least 8 or 9 years, if I'm not wrong. Anurag Kashyap. How is he going to react, Anvita, when he sees the film? Has he seen it already? What do you think his reaction will be?
No, he hasn't. Years ago, when he had read the script, he had said that you should direct. And of course, you should direct this film. But no, he hasn't seen the film, I guess. I hope he sees it when it drops on Netflix. There are lots of my friends, from my composer friends to lyricist friends to writer friends, who have believed in me and believed in the fact that I will direct and that I will do justice to it. On some days more than I believed it. So, which I'm grateful to all of them. So I hope they are happy with what I did.
One of those friends is Vishal Dadlani, who does not allow you to sing when you guys have jamming sessions. Now, as a lyrics writer, I'm sure you understand, you have a strong sense of understanding what music can do to a scene or a story. Give me a sense of what your vision was on the background music of this film, because it certainly does heighten the experience for the viewer.
Amit Trivedi has done the score. He's a friend. We have worked with him as a lyricist. So we were in sync as far as that is concerned. We worked together. So my brief to him was follow the girl. I said, don't score the scene, score the girl. Score what she's feeling. And he did that, and I gave him an idea. I don't like giving references because I think these people are really talented. उनको कुछ और image या कुछ सुना के बांधने की बजाय, you let them do what they are good at doing. And you are there, of course, because it's your vision and your story. You're there to tell them, यहाँ चुप हो जाते हैं या यहाँ सिर्फ ये सुनते हैं, like that kind of a thing. But when you have an Amit Trivedi, or when you have any kind of, every HOD of mine, they are so talented. You have to give them freedom, like my actors. You give them room to breathe. They will perform. They will all be wonderful. And then they'll make the film look the way it does and make me look good.
Tripti, this film is set about 120 years ago. So was there a temptation to maybe over-research, over-prep? Ki us zamane mein, how did women talk and walk? Was that the case with you? And Avinash, you, I believe, saw a lot of Muhammad Ali videos when you prepped for Yudh with Mr. Bachchan. But what was the prep like? Was there any specific unusual prep that the two of you did for this film?
No, not really. I think the only thing that I did was that I, because my character is a child bride in the film, I, wanted to do a little bit of a research on that. And that's all that I did. Rest of the preparation happened with Anvita and my acting teacher, Atul Mungia. And in those workshops, I had my separate sessions with Anvita for 2 months where we, where I sat extensively with her, and, she created this whole world of Bulbbul for me, and, allowed me to think like her, walk like her, talk like her. I used to wear a sari to the workshops and the jewelry too. And, I think once you see yourself in that getup, once you see yourself as the character, then something happens. Then you start to think like your characters too. Then I had, separate workshops with Atul sir, because we had to still work a lot on her. And she's this girl who's different with all the other characters that are there in the film. So we, in those workshops, wanted to focus on her relationship with other characters, with Rahul sir, with Avinash, and especially with Avinash, because I had to, we've done a film together in the past, and we had to unlearn whatever we'd done with Laila Majnu and form a new relationship here between Satya and Bulbbul, and, get into their mindsets. And, the interesting part is that Anvita has written the script and she's, also directed it. But as a writer, you sometimes can get possessive of your content. You can say sometimes that no, this is written this way, you have to take this line, and you can't change my line. But that was never the case with Anvita. In fact, we hardly touched the script during the entire preparation time, because she's someone who believes in improvisation. She's someone who believes in keeping things real and being in the moment. And which is why she, instead of giving us scenes, used to give us situations and ask us to approach those situations as our characters. So we did this for about 2 months. And when you work on something for this long period of time, then you obviously get used to it and get used to your characters.
Yeah.
So that was our preparation.
Avinash, Mohammed Ali.
मुझे डर है कि शायद अनीता से मार पड़े इस बात के लिए, but when I first read the script, I love the screenplay, I love the story, and I went to her and I said I love all of this, but पता नहीं, the key words that I thought for what I thought of Satya, and which is why it said that you should not really judge the characters that you play, was that I found him to be very naive, very innocent, to an extent that he कोई इतना भूला लगता है कि आपको बेवकूफ लगने लगे. I had that kind of feeling for him. He's so innocent that he appears to be dumb. Until Anvita really brought out the idea of his bravery, that he's this brave man, and she would always say this, that I look at him as the ultimate hero, which I couldn't connect to at that point of time. For
The
me,
Disney
that discovery
hero.
of the Disney hero, to understand that somewhere you have to let go of your own perceptions and judgments about things. Like we have a habit of considering sensitive people to be weak, or like I said, innocent and naive to be dumb. How do I bring it all together along with this guy who is very courageous, and bring it out, was something that I had to discover. The workshop was one place that it all started with, and once we started doing those situations, like Tripti mentioned, that when we came together to figure out situations and build a life that we would have made together for those years, that's when it started really coming to the fore that yes, there is this innocence, but what is the real person within? And the discovery happened for me through that process. So the preparation here was more in action while you were doing it. It was not something that I went and researched or created. Of course, I remember Anvita saying, I want you guys to be thoda golu golu. Because we were from 1800s, and उस वक्त मैंने थोड़ा सा कम किया हुआ था, तो I remember chawal, and she would make mutton, amazing mutton that Anvita made a few times. I actually did put on some weight at that point of time, if that can be called preparation for the part. Yes, those things happened, but internally it was more in the process, discovering it while we were doing it. It's something that I really, really cherish.
Right, we've run out of time, but finally, the 3 scenes that stayed with me. One is that slow motion sequence with Rahul Bose with something in his hands. I won't tell you what it was because let people discover that. The other one was a beady scene between Tripti and the doctor, and the third was the climax and the pre-climax. Very quickly, your favorite scenes or sequences in the film?
I love everything that has come together. Obviously, it's very special for me. But there are certain things I was just discussing with Tripti and Rahul also earlier in the day, was that there was something. So before I wrote the script, I had written 2 pages on the story. When I'd written the story, it was only 2 pages. Then about a year or so later, I wrote the script. And then, of course, many years later, I made the film and I rewrote the draft. Then I did a short breakdown and I shot the film. But in those 2 pages, there were certain sequences that were already there. And they're still there in the film. So that's why they're special to me, because they were my firstborn children. So the shots that you are talking about, the Indranil shot with the mirror lifting that thing, that was there. The shot in the scene where Indranil says that tum London jaoge padhne ke liye, and Bulbbul pulls her feet back under her sari. She just pulls them back like that. that moment was there in those 2 pages. So like that, there are these certain things that were there in the 2 pages that are still there in the film. Her fanning herself and all of that. So those things are special for me. But I like all of them. Her sitting and waiting when, all of them run to the window. That part. There are many things which I love. So I'm the wrong person to answer this because I'll carry on.
So for me, my most favorite is the one, where Rahul Bose comes with the poker. And that one is my favorite because I knew how important that scene was for the film, and I was obviously very nervous, before shooting that particular scene and the scene, after that, and I was very scared, very nervous, and I wanted to, approach both the scenes as Bulbbul and not as Tripti, and I wanted to fully be there as my character and feel everything that girl was supposed to feel in at that moment, and it was very difficult, honestly, but I think Rahul sir and Anvita, they both just made it seem very easy. I remember having this conversation with Rahul sir at the start of it. He said that, I know it's difficult for you, but it's difficult for me too, and I'm going to go all out as an actor. But if at any point you feel uncomfortable or you feel that you need your co-actor and that you need somebody to talk to, then just I'm there as Rahul Bose, and he actually was there. After every cut, I'm sure it was difficult for him too, because I was still getting a lot of love from Anvita and from the people who were around me. And after every cut, they were like, "Oh, bechari," and they would come to me, and Anvita used to be like, "Chai piyegi, kuch karegi," but he was not getting any sympathies from anybody, and even then he was just breaking out of his zone every time after every take, and just to provide comfort to me, just to come and talk to me and sit next to me, and he would also go and tell all the ADs to keep checking in on me, and the producers and Anvita as well, just please check if Tripti is okay, I want to be there for her. So I think that whole experience was very special for me, both as a performer and as a performer and as a human being, because honestly I didn't think, मुझे शुरू में नहीं लगा था कि हो पाएगा, but I think it went well, and it wouldn't have been possible without my director's help and support. So yeah, that scene.
Right. So, and for all of you watching, it hits Netflix on the 24th of June. It's called Bulbbul, directed by Anvita Dutt, headlined by some very fine actors. Do catch it. Should be fun. Thanks so much.